Welcome to Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin. Today I'll be reviewing a Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn classic, Bringing Up Baby. Alright, so now I'll get into my review of Bringing Up Baby. The plot, I gave a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was very fun, and it's definitely the dictionary definition of a screwball comedy. You have a paleontologist who ends up falling in love with a rich socialite who has a leopard. You know, this is just crazy antics, right? And pretty hilarious movie for the most part. And, you know, as crazy as that sounds, it works. Though, I do have to say, once they're in Connecticut, the film kind of lags until the very end when they're all in jail with both leopards. That's kind of what I noticed this time around. This is my second time seeing it. But other than that, I really love the moments with just Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn. I think they were a great on-screen couple, and I love their banter and their antics. I thought it was pretty funny. And so that leads into acting, which I gave a 5 out of 5, mainly because of those two. Everyone else is pretty standard, but those two were hilarious together on the screen. I think it's the highlight of the film, especially Katharine Hepburn. She did a really, really good job in this one. Now, in regards to directing, this is directed by Howard Hawks. I gave a 5 out of 5. He really made some great decisions with his casting picks, with the story, even though the film was not a major success, and even though he kind of had some trouble with Katharine Hepburn. This was her first ever comedy, so she needed comedic coaches, and so many scenes had to be reshot with her and Cary Grant just because they were laughing so much. It cost them a lot of money to make this movie. It was like $1 million, and then they only made $1 million at the box office, so it barely broke even. But other than that, though, I think it's a great film, and he was a great director of it. Now, cinematography and special effects, I also gave a 5 out of 5. I love the special effects that they used with having the leopards on screen. In some scenes, there's a real leopard, and they have like a glass wall between the leopard and the real actors. In one scene, it's kind of noticeable, but for the most part, it's not. And the one scene that was noticeable was when Cary Grant comes to Katharine Hepburn's house, and he opens the bathroom door, and you can kind of see a little glare from the glass in there. But other than that, I loved it. They used some rear projection, which worked for the most part, and they even used some animatronic leopards. So I was pretty impressed with what they were able to do. And yeah, there were some genuine moments where I was pretty fearful, because it looks like if she really was walking that leopard on a leash, that's insane, Katharine Hepburn. But, you know, knowing her life and all of that, kind of reading up on her biography and whatnot, it would actually make sense if she actually did. She's crazy enough to do that. So, yeah, overall, though, cinematography, special effects, gave it a 5 out of 5. Now, the music, as typical in most 1930s movies, there wasn't really a score. They did sing some songs. Like, there's one scene where they put on a record for the leopard. The leopard's name is Baby, so it's I Can't Help But Thinking About You, Baby. It's a pretty funny moment. And later on, they're trying to lure the cat in by singing to him, and it's pretty funny, but there's no score or anything, so that's why I gave it a 3 out of 5. Just because it wasn't a common thing back then, so, you know, I can't say it was the worst, and I can't say it was the best either. So that's why I gave it a 3 out of 5. So, tallying that all up, that brings my Letterboxd score to a 4.3 out of 5, which I'll round to a 4 out of 5. I think it was a really fun movie. It's great to watch with your spouse and just, you know, see the connections and the relationship that they have. And I think it's an underrated film. Even though people like it a lot, and the Criterion even released a version of it last year, you still never really hear about it. And I think it's a forgotten gem that needs to be looked more into. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And make sure to subscribe on our Instagram and Facebook, where I post behind the scene details about the week's particular film. And also make sure to follow me on all my other social media accounts. If you click the link in the description of my Instagram, you'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, Getter, Twitter, Telegram, pretty much anywhere you could think of, I'm there. And also make sure to follow our YouTube channel, and I'll be having my first live stream February 19th. And stay tuned for that. I'll announce details of that on my Instagram page. Alright, well, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. This has been Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin. Take care.